My wife found me crying in the bathroom. I was 55 years old and I couldn't get a strong stream anymore. The morning that changed everything started like any other morning in 2014. I was making my usual beet juice, something I'd been doing for months after reading about nitric oxide and blood flow. But nothing was working. My prostate symptoms were getting worse every week. Weak stream, constant urgency, getting up 4 times a night. I felt like my body was failing me, and my masculinity was slipping away drop by drop. That's when I discovered something that most men never hear about. Something so simple that when I added it to my beet juice that Tuesday morning, by Sunday my blood flow had returned stronger than it had been in years. I'm talking about a complete transformation in 5 days. Not weeks, not months, 5 days. And I'm going to share exactly what I did, because what happened to me shouldn't be a secret that only some men stumble onto by accident. What I'm about to tell you challenges everything most doctors say about prostate health and blood flow. Most men think these problems are just part of aging, something you have to accept. But here's what I learned through my own desperate search for answers, and what I now know after helping hundreds of other men through their own journeys. The real problem isn't your prostate getting larger. The real problem is your blood vessels getting smaller. Let me explain what's really happening inside your body, because once you understand this mechanism, everything else makes perfect sense. When you're young, your blood vessels are like brand new garden hoses, wide open, flexible, delivering strong pressure wherever it's needed. But as we age, especially after 40, those vessels start to narrow. Not just from cholesterol, though that's part of it. They narrow from chronic inflammation, from reduced nitric oxide production, from smooth muscle tension that never fully releases. Think about it this way. Your prostate needs blood flow to function properly. The smooth muscle in your urethra needs blood flow to relax and let urine flow freely. Your erectile tissue needs blood flow to maintain function. Everything downstream from your heart depends on those vessels staying wide and flexible. But here's where it gets really frustrating. Most doctors focus on the prostate itself. They want to shrink it with drugs or cut pieces out with surgery. They're treating the symptom, not the cause. The cause is that your cardiovascular system isn't delivering what your prostate needs to stay healthy and function normally. I spent 2 years going from doctor to doctor after my diagnosis. Enlarged prostate, they said. BPH, they called it. Benign prostatic hyperplasia. Benign meaning it won't kill you, but it'll sure make you miserable. They offered me alpha blockers to relax the smooth muscle. They offered me 5 alpha reductase inhibitors to shrink the prostate. They even started talking about TURP surgery, where they basically ream out your prostate like cleaning a pipe. I said no to all of it, not because I'm anti-medicine, but because none of it addressed what I knew was the real problem. My circulation was shot. I could feel it. Cold hands, tired legs, and yes, weak urine flow. Everything pointed to blood vessels that weren't doing their job anymore. That's when I started researching nitric oxide. This molecule that your blood vessels produce naturally to keep themselves dilated and healthy. Nobel Prize-winning research, by the way. 3 scientists won the Nobel Prize in Physiology for discovering how nitric oxide works in the cardiovascular system. Yet somehow this crucial information never makes it to men dealing with prostate problems. Nitric oxide is like your blood vessel's natural relaxation signal. When you have enough of it, your vessels stay wide, your blood pressure stays healthy, and circulation reaches every part of your body that needs it, including your prostate. When you don't have enough nitric oxide production, everything starts to tighten up. Blood pressure rises, circulation decreases, and organs like the prostate start to struggle. I started drinking beet juice because beets are loaded with nitrates, which your body converts to nitric oxide. The research was solid. Multiple studies showing that beet juice could improve blood flow, lower blood pressure, and enhance circulation within hours of drinking it. I was drinking 8 ounces every morning, sometimes 12 ounces, and I did notice some improvement. My blood pressure came down about 10 points. I had a little more energy during the day, but my prostate symptoms barely budged. The weak stream was still weak. I was still getting up multiple times at night. I was still dealing with that constant feeling of incomplete emptying. That's when I realized I was missing a critical piece of the puzzle. Beet juice gives you nitrates, which can become nitric oxide. But your body needs help converting those nitrates efficiently. And more importantly, your blood vessels need additional support to respond properly to that nitric oxide signal. Most men over 50 have some degree of endothelial dysfunction. That's medical speak for blood vessel lining that's not working optimally anymore. Even if you increase nitric oxide production, damaged or inflamed blood vessel walls don't respond the way they should. I spent weeks reading everything I could find about enhancing nitric oxide pathways naturally. That's when I came across research about L-citrulline and its unique ability to not just boost nitric oxide, but to help blood vessels respond more effectively to it. L-citrulline is an amino acid that your body converts to L-arginine, which then becomes nitric oxide. But unlike taking L-arginine directly, L-citrulline provides a sustained release that doesn't compete with other amino acids for absorption. More importantly, L-citrulline helps improve what researchers call endothelial responsiveness. It helps repair and protect the blood vessel walls so they can actually use the nitric oxide you're producing. The Tuesday I added L-citrulline powder to my morning beet juice, I didn't expect much. I'd been disappointed so many times already. I mixed 6 grams of L-citrulline powder into 12 ounces of fresh beet juice, drank it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. By Thursday, I noticed my morning stream was stronger. Not dramatically stronger, but noticeably better pressure and flow. By Friday, I slept through the night for the first time in months. Didn't wake up once to urinate. Saturday morning, I woke up with better energy than I'd felt in years. And Sunday, 5 days after I started adding L-citrulline to my beet juice, I had the strongest urine stream I'd experienced since my 40s. I'm not exaggerating. It was like someone had cleared a blocked pipe. The flow was strong, complete, satisfying. No straining, no waiting, no dribbling afterward. For the first time in years, I felt like my body was working the way it was supposed to. The mechanism makes perfect sense when you understand what's happening. The nitrates from beet juice provide the raw material for nitric oxide production. The L-citrulline provides sustained nitric oxide support while helping repair endothelial function. Together, they restore the blood flow that your prostate desperately needs to function normally. Within weeks, I wasn't just sleeping through the night consistently. I was waking up feeling rested. My energy during the day was better than it had been in years. Even my wife noticed changes in my mood and my confidence. When your body starts working properly again, it affects everything. I started sharing this combination with other men in my support group. Robert, a 62-year-old carpenter, had been dealing with weak flow and constant urgency for 3 years. His doctor wanted him to start Flomax, but he was worried about the side effects, especially the sexual side effects that nobody likes to talk about, but everyone knows about. Robert tried my beet juice and L-citrulline protocol for 2 weeks. He came back to our next meeting with a completely different demeanor. His urgency had decreased by about 70%. He was sleeping 5 to 6 hour stretches instead of getting up every 90 minutes. Most importantly to him, his morning erections were coming back stronger than they'd been since his 50s. That's the thing about improving circulation. When you fix the underlying blood flow problem, multiple symptoms improve simultaneously because they're all connected to the same root cause. Another member of our group, James, had been on alpha blockers for 2 years. They helped somewhat with urination, but he was dealing with dizziness, fatigue, and what he called foggy thinking. He wanted to get off the medication, but was afraid his symptoms would come back worse than before. We worked with his doctor to gradually reduce his medication while he started the beet juice and L-citrulline protocol. It took about 6 weeks to completely wean off the alpha blocker, but his urinary symptoms actually improved during the process instead of getting worse. 6 months later, James was medication-free with better prostate function than when he was taking drugs. His energy was back, the brain fog was gone, and he felt like himself again. The key insight that most men miss is that prostate health and cardiovascular health are inseparable. Your prostate is essentially a vascular organ. It's loaded with blood vessels and depends entirely on good circulation to function properly. When circulation improves, prostate function improves. When circulation is compromised, the prostate struggles no matter what else you do. This is why you see so many men with both prostate problems and cardiovascular problems. High blood pressure, erectile dysfunction, weak urine flow, fatigue. They're not separate conditions that happen to occur together. They're different expressions of the same underlying cardiovascular dysfunction. One thing that really helped me track my progress and stay consistent with the protocol was monitoring my symptoms daily. I started using an app designed specifically for this kind of tracking. I'll leave the link in the pinned comment if you want to check it out. It helped me see patterns I wouldn't have noticed otherwise and adjust timing and dosages based on what was actually working. The daily tracking showed me that consistency was crucial. Missing even 2 days would set me back noticeably. But when I stayed consistent with the morning beet juice and L-citrulline combination, the improvements were steady and sustained. The research supporting this approach is actually quite extensive once you know where to look. A 2019 study published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found that L-citrulline supplementation significantly improved blood flow and endothelial function in men over 50. The participants saw improvements in just 7 days, which matches exactly what I experienced. Multiple studies have shown that beet juice consumption can improve nitric oxide status within 2 to 3 hours and maintain elevated levels for 6 to 8 hours. When you combine that with L-citrulline's sustained nitric oxide support, you're providing your cardiovascular system with comprehensive support throughout the day. What makes this protocol so effective is that it addresses the problem at multiple levels simultaneously. You're providing nitrate substrate for nitric oxide production. You're supporting sustained nitric oxide synthesis through the L-citrulline pathway. And you're helping repair endothelial function so your blood vessels can respond properly to the nitric oxide signals. Most importantly, you're doing all of this naturally, working with your body's existing systems instead of overriding them with drugs. There are a few critical details about implementation that can make or break your results. First, timing matters enormously. You want to drink this combination first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. This maximizes absorption and gives you peak nitric oxide support during the day when you need it most. Second, quality matters. Not all L-citrulline supplements are created equal. You want pure L-citrulline powder, not citrulline malate or other forms mixed with other compounds. The dosage I found most effective was 6 grams of L-citrulline powder mixed with 12 ounces of fresh beet juice. Some men do well with 4 grams, others need 8 grams, but 6 grams seems to be the sweet spot for most men over 50. Third, consistency is absolutely crucial. This isn't a protocol you can do occasionally and expect results. Your endothelial function improves gradually over time with consistent nitric oxide support. Miss too many days and you lose the cumulative benefits you've been building. I also discovered that certain foods can enhance or inhibit the effectiveness of this protocol. Leafy green vegetables like spinach and arugula contain additional nitrates that complement the beet juice. Dark berries provide antioxidants that protect nitric oxide from oxidative breakdown. On the flip side, processed foods high in sodium and refined sugars can impair nitric oxide function and reduce the effectiveness of what you're doing. Alcohol is particularly problematic because it interferes with nitric oxide synthesis and can undo days of progress with a single evening of heavy drinking. One mistake I made early on was thinking more would be better. I tried increasing the L-citrulline dose to 10 grams and drinking beet juice twice a day. Instead of better results, I got digestive upset and actually seemed to have worse symptoms. Your body has optimal doses for these nutrients, and exceeding them doesn't provide additional benefits. Another important factor is hydration. Proper blood flow requires adequate blood volume, which means staying well hydrated throughout the day. I started drinking at least half my body weight in ounces of water daily, and this seemed to amplify the effects of the beet juice and L-citrulline combination. Exercise also plays a crucial role, but not the way most men think. High-intensity exercise can actually temporarily impair nitric oxide function due to oxidative stress. But moderate exercise, especially walking, swimming, or cycling at a comfortable pace, enhances nitric oxide production and improves circulation. I started taking a 30-minute walk every evening, and this seemed to extend the benefits of my morning protocol throughout the day. The psychological impact of regaining normal prostate function cannot be overstated. When you're dealing with weak flow, constant urgency, and interrupted sleep night after night, it affects every aspect of your life. Your confidence, your relationships, your work performance, your overall sense of well-being. When those symptoms improve dramatically in just a few days, it's like getting your life back. The fear that accompanies prostate problems is something most men don't talk about openly. The fear that this is just the beginning of a long decline. The fear that surgery might be inevitable. The fear that your sex life is over. The fear that you're becoming less of a man. When you experience rapid improvement through something as simple as beet juice and L-citrulline, it completely changes your relationship with aging and your confidence in your body's ability to heal and function properly. What surprised me most was how this protocol affected other aspects of my health that I wasn't even targeting. My blood pressure, which had been borderline high for years, dropped into the normal range and stayed there. My energy levels during the day improved significantly. I stopped having that afternoon crash that had been plaguing me for years. Even my sleep quality improved beyond just sleeping through the night without urinating. I was falling asleep faster and waking up more rested. These improvements make perfect sense when you understand that nitric oxide and healthy circulation affect every system in your body. Your brain needs good blood flow to function optimally. Your muscles need circulation for energy and recovery. Your digestive system needs blood flow for proper nutrient absorption. When you improve circulation systematically, everything works better. The financial aspect is worth mentioning because it's so dramatically different from conventional treatment. A month's supply of quality L-citrulline powder costs about $30. Fresh beet juice or high-quality beet juice powder adds maybe another $20 per month. Compare that to prescription medications that can cost hundreds of dollars monthly, have significant side effects, and often lose effectiveness over time. Or surgical procedures that cost tens of thousands of dollars with no guarantee of success and potential complications that could make things worse. For less than $60 a month, You can provide your cardiovascular system with the support it needs to function optimally, naturally. No side effects, no drug interactions, no surgical risks. Just working with your body's existing systems to restore normal function. After 10 years of using this protocol consistently, I can say that my prostate function today at 65 is better than it was at 55 when I first started having problems. I sleep through the night consistently. My stream is strong and complete. I have no urgency or frequency issues during the day. Most importantly, I have complete confidence in my body's ability to maintain healthy function as I continue aging. The key is understanding that prostate health is cardiovascular health. When you support your circulation properly, your prostate takes care of itself. When you neglect your circulation, your prostate suffers no matter what else you do. This simple shift in thinking changes everything about how you approach aging and men's health. Start with 1 week of the protocol exactly as I've described. 6 grams of L-citrulline powder mixed with 12 ounces of beet juice, first thing every morning on an empty stomach. Track your symptoms daily. Pay attention to your energy levels, sleep quality, and urinary function. Most men notice some improvement within 3 to 5 days, just like I did. If you found value in my story and want to hear more about natural approaches to men's health that actually work, subscribe to this channel. I share everything I've learned on this journey, from the failures and false starts to the breakthroughs that changed everything. And remember, that tracking app I mentioned is linked in the pinned comment below. 10 years ago, my wife found me crying in the bathroom because my body was failing me. Today, I have the energy, confidence, and physical function of a man 20 years younger. The difference was understanding that my prostate problems were really circulation problems, and that circulation problems can be fixed naturally when you know what you're doing.